Every expert said Argentina had no chance in 2022, and then Messi proved every single one of them wrong. So today, we're going to tell you exactly who is going to win the 2026 World Cup, and why we are probably already wrong about it.
All right, we are back. This is Fluent English Podcast. I am Alex.
And I am Emma. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show.
We are talking about the 2026 World Cup today.
Yes, I'm so excited about this topic. Okay, so for our listeners, today we are going to have a conversation about football, or soccer as we Americans call it.
Right. And we should say Emma and I are both American. So in the United States, we call this sport soccer, but most of the world calls it football. So during this episode, we might say both words and they mean the same thing.
Good point. And the 2026 World Cup is actually being hosted in North America, right here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, which is a big deal for us.
It is a huge deal. This is going to be the first World Cup ever with 48 teams. Usually it is 32 teams, but this time they expanded it. More teams, more games, more surprises.
More upsets.
Exactly, more upsets. And today we are trying to predict the 2026 World Cup winner, which is almost impossible.
Predicting the World Cup is notoriously difficult because football is a low-scoring game, heavily influenced by sudden variance, meaning a single referee decision, a freak injury, or a lucky bounce can upend months of statistical analysis.
So today we want to talk about three main things: the strongest teams, the surprise teams, and what we call the dark horses.
And for our listeners who are learning English, let us quickly explain what dark horse means. Alex, do you want to explain that?
Sure. So a dark horse is an expression in English. It means someone, or in this case, a team, that people do not expect to do well, but they might actually surprise everyone. They are not the favorite, they are not well known, but they have a real chance of winning.
Like the underdog, kind of.
Similar to underdog, yes. An underdog is a team or person that is expected to lose. A dark horse is more of a hidden or unknown contender.
Great. Okay, so let us get into it. Let us start with the strongest teams. Who do you think are the top favorites for the 2026 World Cup?
Okay, so if I'm being honest, I have to start with France. France is probably the most talented squad in the world right now. They have incredible depth. And when I say depth, I mean they have great players not just in the starting 11, but also on the bench.
And for our listeners, starting 11 means the 11 players who start the game. Every team puts 11 players on the field.
Right. Thank you. So France has players like Kylian Mbappe, who's one of the best players on the planet. He's fast, he can score, he can assist. He really does everything.
And he has been playing at Real Madrid, which is one of the biggest clubs in the world. So he has a lot of experience playing in big pressure situations.
Absolutely. And France already reached the final in 2022. They lost to Argentina on penalties, but they showed they belong at the very top.
Okay, so France is number one on your list. Who else?
Brazil. You cannot talk about World Cup favorites without talking about Brazil. They've won the World Cup 5 times. No other country has won it more than Brazil.
5 times that is incredible.
It really is. And Brazil always has amazing attacking players. They play beautiful football. The style, the creativity. It is fun to watch even if you do not follow soccer.
Right. Even casual fans enjoy watching Brazil play. They're exciting.
And I think Brazil will be very motivated in 2026. They had a disappointing 2022. They got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Croatia, which was a big shock.
I remember that. That was surprising to a lot of people. Croatia is a small country. They have a small population, but they always seem to do really well in big tournaments.
Croatia is actually a great example of a dark horse team that turned into a powerhouse over the years. But we will talk about that more in a bit.
Okay, so we have France and Brazil. What about Argentina? They're the defending champions. They won in 2022.
Yes, Argentina. So Argentina is interesting. They won in Qatar in 2022, and it was an incredible tournament. Lionel Messi finally got his World Cup trophy, which felt like a big moment for football history.
It really did. I think even people who were not big soccer fans understood how important that moment was. Messi is considered by many people to be the greatest player of all time.
The GOAT, greatest of all time.
Yes, the GOAT. And that word, GOAT, is a popular English expression. It stands for greatest of all time. People use it for athletes, musicians, and many others.
Right. So Messi is the GOAT to a lot of people. But here's the question for 2026. Messi will be 38 or 39 years old during the tournament. Will he still be able to play at that level?
That is such a good question. I mean, he is playing in Major League Soccer right now in the United States, which is a lower level than European leagues. So some people wonder if he is winding down his career.
And winding down means slowly coming to the end, like when you wind down at night before going to sleep.
Exactly. So the question is, can Argentina win without a peak Messi? Or will Messi somehow still be great?
I think Argentina still has a strong team even without the best version of Messi. They have players like Julian Alvarez, who was outstanding in the 2022 World Cup.
He was amazing. Young, fast, really clinical in front of goal.
And clinical in sports means very precise and efficient. Like a doctor is clinical, calm and accurate. A clinical finisher is a player who does not miss chances.
Great word. Okay, so we have France, Brazil, Argentina. I want to add England to this list.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so England has been really close for a long time. They reached the final of the European Championship twice in a row, 2021 and 2024. They always have a strong team. They have great players in the Premier League.
Yes, and the Premier League is the top football league in England, and many people consider it the best league in the world. So English players are playing at the highest level every week.
Right. And England has young talent coming up. They have players like Jude Bellingham, who is already playing at Real Madrid and performing at a very high level.
Bellingham is incredible. He is so mature for his age. He's not just a good player, he is a leader, and he is still quite young.
So England definitely has to be on the list of favorites. They have not won the World Cup since 1966, which is a very long time.
A very long time. And every year, English fans believe this is their year.
Football is coming home, as they say.
Exactly. Football is coming home. That is a famous English football phrase. It comes from an old song. The idea is that England invented football, so winning the World Cup would mean football is coming home to its birthplace.
I love that phrase. Okay, I also want to mention Spain.
Oh yes, Spain won 3 consecutive major tournaments, the World Cup in 2010 and the European Championship in 2008 and 2012. And they just won the European Championship again in 2024.
So Spain is clearly back at the top level. They play this beautiful passing game. It's sometimes called tiki-taka, which means lots of short, quick passes.
Right. Tiki-taka is a style of football based on keeping the ball, moving it quickly, and wearing down the opponent. Spain mastered that style.
And they have young players coming through. Lamine Yamal is 19 years old, and he was one of the best players in Euro 2024 when he was just 17, which is just unbelievable.
19 years old performing on that stage, it is hard to believe.
So I think the top favorites are France, Brazil, Argentina, England, and Spain. Does that sound right to you?
I think that is a very solid list. Germany might also belong on that list. Germany is always a threat. They have a great football culture, great infrastructure, and they always seem to find a way to compete.
That is true. Germany had a rough few years after their 2014 World Cup win. They went out in the group stage in 2018, which was a huge shock.
Massive shock. Germany going out in the group stage felt impossible, but they have been rebuilding, and by 2026, they could be really strong again.
Okay, so let us move on to our second topic, surprise teams. Who do you think could surprise people at the 2026 World Cup?
Okay, this is where it gets fun. My #1 surprise team pick is the United States.
Interesting, and I think there is a home advantage factor here too.
For sure. The tournament is being played in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Having games at home with home fans in familiar conditions, that makes a huge difference.
And the U.S. team has been getting better. They have players like Christian Pulisic, who plays in Europe. He plays for AC Milan in Italy, which is one of the top clubs in the world.
And the U.S. has a lot of young talent that is developing. Players who were teenagers when the last World Cup happened will be in their early 20s in 2026. That is often the best age for footballers.
Right. Early to mid-20s is often when players hit their peak. They still have energy and speed, but they also have experience and confidence.
And the American fan culture for soccer has been growing a lot. MLS, Major League Soccer, is getting more popular. Kids are growing up playing and watching soccer much more than before.
I know so many kids who play soccer now. It is definitely one of the most popular youth sports in America.
So I think the U.S. could genuinely surprise people if they're at home and the crowd is behind them. What about you, Emma? Who is your surprise team?
Okay, I have two. My first one is Morocco.
Morocco, yes.
Morocco was absolutely incredible at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. They became the first African team ever to reach the semifinals of a World Cup.
That was such a great story. Nobody expected them to go that far. They beat some really good teams.
They beat Spain. They beat Portugal. These are not small teams.
No, these are major footballing nations. And Morocco did it with a very organized defensive style. They were very hard to score against.
Right. They were very disciplined. And disciplined in sports means that every player follows the game plan. Nobody goes off on their own. Everyone does their job.
And Morocco has a mix of players who were born in African countries and also players who grew up in Europe, mostly in France and Belgium, but chose to play for Morocco.
Which makes them a very interesting team because they have European football experience, but they play for an African nation.
And I think after 2022, the whole world knows about Morocco now. The pressure and the spotlight will be different, but they also have more experience at this level.
Exactly. They know what it feels like to be on that big stage. So Morocco is definitely a team to watch.
Great pick. Who is your second surprise team?
Japan.
Oh, Japan is a great pick.
Japan has been quietly getting better and better. In 2022, they beat Germany and Spain in the group stage, two of the best teams in the world.
And they did it twice, back to back. First Germany, then Spain. People could not believe it.
And back to back means 2 times in a row, one after the other. For example, she won the championship back to back, meaning she won twice in a row.
Japan plays a very energetic pressing style. They run a lot. They work incredibly hard as a team. There is no individual star. Everyone contributes.
And Japanese players are getting more experience in top European leagues. More and more Japanese players are playing in the Premier League, in the Bundesliga, in Serie A, so the level keeps rising.
I also want to mention Portugal as a surprise team. Not because Portugal is weak, but because after Ronaldo, people are not sure what Portugal looks like.
Cristiano Ronaldo, the other GOAT candidate.
Yes, Ronaldo is also one of the best players ever, but in 2026, he will be 41 years old, so almost certainly Ronaldo will either be retired or not a major factor.
And Portugal has been so built around Ronaldo for so long that people wonder who steps up when he is not the main guy.
But Portugal actually has really talented young players. Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Rafael Leao. They have the talent to do something special without depending on one superstar.
So Portugal could surprise people by showing they're a team, not just Ronaldo plus 10 other players.
Exactly. Okay, shall we move on to dark horses?
Yes, let us talk about dark horses.
So dark horses are teams that might not be in the top conversation, but they have a real chance of going deep in the tournament. And in the 2026 World Cup, with 48 teams, there are more chances than ever for a dark horse to make a deep run.
Right, because with more teams, there are more rounds, more games, more opportunities for upsets.
And my number one dark horse is the Netherlands.
Oh, the Netherlands! They're always so close.
They are the definition of an underperforming team. They have so much talent. Historically, they have had some of the best players in the world, but they have never won a World Cup.
They have been to the final multiple times without winning. That must be so frustrating for their fans.
But they have been rebuilding well. They have great young players. And in a 48-team tournament, I think the Netherlands has the quality to go all the way if things fall right for them.
My dark horse pick is Colombia.
Interesting choice.
Colombia has been producing amazing players. James Rodriguez was brilliant at the 2014 World Cup, won the Golden Boot, and Colombia has continued to develop talent since then.
And the Golden Boot, for our listeners, is the award given to the player who scores the most goals in the tournament.
Right. And Colombia plays with a lot of flair. Flair means style, creativity, natural talent that looks exciting to watch.
And since the 2026 World Cup is being played in North and Central America, the travel and conditions will be a bit more familiar for South American teams. Less jet lag, similar climates in some cities.
That is a good point. Colombian players will feel more at home playing in cities like Miami or Los Angeles than players coming from Europe.
I also want to mention Belgium as a dark horse, even though their famous golden generation is getting older.
Right. Belgium had this incredible group of players. Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard, Thibaut Courtois. They were supposed to win a World Cup with that group, but they never did.
And most of those players are still around, but they are older now. De Bruyne will be in his mid-30s. Hazard has had a lot of injuries, so this Belgium team might be a last chance for those players.
And teams playing with something to prove, a last chance mentality, can sometimes be very dangerous in tournaments.
Absolutely. Motivation is a real factor in sports. A team that feels this is their final opportunity will often find extra energy.
I also want to mention one more dark horse, Senegal.
Oh, Senegal, yes. They won the Africa Cup of Nations in 2022. They have Sadio Mane, who is one of the most decorated African players of his generation.
And Senegal qualified for the 2022 World Cup. They were competitive, they made it out of the group stage. They have experience at this level now.
Africa in general is getting stronger. You have Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, Nigeria. African football is rising, and the World Cup in 2026 gives these nations a real platform.
And there are more spots for African teams in the 2026 World Cup. With 48 teams total, Africa gets 9 spots instead of the previous 5.
9 spots. That is almost double. So African football will have a much bigger presence at this tournament.
Which is great for the game globally. It makes the tournament more diverse and more exciting.
I completely agree. Okay, so Emma, let us do our final predictions. If you had to pick one team to win the 2026 World Cup, who would you pick?
Okay, this is so hard. I'm going to say France.
Interesting.
Here's my thinking. France has the deepest squad. They have players at every position who are among the best in the world. And they are still hungry after losing the final in 2022. Losing a final hurts a lot. I think France will come back motivated.
That is a great argument. Losing a final is painful, and good teams use that pain as fuel.
What about you?
I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here. And going against the grain means doing or thinking something different from most people.
Like swimming against the current.
Exactly. So I'm going to say Brazil.
Brazil, okay. Tell me why.
Brazil will be incredibly motivated after their 2022 disappointment. They have the talent, they have the coaching, they have the infrastructure, and I think they will have a new generation of players who are ready to peak in 2026.
And Brazil playing in North America, there will be a lot of Brazilian fans traveling to the games, especially to cities in the southern United States. Miami, for example, has a huge Brazilian population.
That home-like atmosphere for Brazil could be a big advantage. It will not quite be a home tournament, but it will feel closer to home than a World Cup in Europe would.
I like that reasoning. Okay, so our final picks are Emma picks France, Alex picks Brazil.
And we want to hear from you. Who do you think will win the 2026 World Cup? Leave a comment, send us a message. We love hearing from our listeners.
And remember, predicting the World Cup is almost impossible. Nobody picked Argentina in 2022 before the tournament. Nobody thought Morocco would make the semifinals.
That is the beauty of football. The unexpected always happens. That is why we watch.
That is why we watch. Okay, before we wrap up, let us do a quick vocabulary review for our listeners who are learning English. Alex, do you want to start?
Sure. Okay, so some of the key words and phrases we use today. First, depth. When a team has depth, they have strong players not just in the starting lineup, but also on the bench. Extra quality throughout the whole squad.
Next, clinical. A clinical player or team is precise and efficient. They do not waste chances. They are calm and accurate, especially when scoring goals.
Dark horse. An unexpected team or person who has a real chance of doing very well, even though people are not talking about them as a favorite.
Flair. Natural talent and creativity. When someone plays with flair, they are exciting and stylish.
Going against the grain. Thinking or doing something differently from most other people.
The Golden Boot, the award for the top scorer at the World Cup. The player who scores the most goals wins the Golden Boot.
Back to back. 2 times in a row. 2 consecutive victories or achievements.
Winding down, coming towards the end of something. When a career is winding down, the person is getting closer to retirement.
And of course, GOAT. Greatest of all time. Used for the very best players in history.
Great review. Okay, everyone, that is our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned some new vocabulary along the way.
If you are learning English, the best thing you can do is listen to conversations like this one. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Just listen, get comfortable with the rhythm and the flow of natural speech.
And if you hear a word you don't know, try to guess the meaning from context before looking it up. That's a great habit for language learners.
Context is everything. Most of the time, you can figure out what a word means just from the situation.
Exactly. Okay, thank you so much for listening to the Fluent English podcast. We will be back next week with another episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.